Indonesia's Navy officials say the submarine that sank last week off Bali may have been dragged down by a powerful internal wave. The Lombok Strait is known to have these internal waves occurring almost fortnightly. They happen when the current between two channels, one shallow and one deep, creates an exceptionally strong tidal flow. The ocean appears calm, while beneath the surface, huge waves, the height of a skyscraper, move slowly, exerting an intense vertical pull. And one was actually recorded around the time the submarine disappeared last week. Well, joining us now is Professor Potiarachi from the University of Western Australia. Professor, good afternoon. How are these waves formed then exactly?
They're formed because the ocean has different densities. Just like we have oil floating on water, we have an interface between different temperatures. So when the tide goes past, they actually generate these waves that can move. They're very large and they can move large distances too.
Tell me about the shape and consistency. Can they be seen by the human eye?
Sometimes, if they're big enough, you can see on the surface. Remember that they are more than 100 meters high, so they can be very large. Usually, you don't see them in the bare eye. Unless it's very calm, you can actually see the signature on the sea surface.
Right. As I mentioned before, they're known to be quite common in this part of the world that we're talking about. Are they common right around the world?
They're common right around the world. They are a very important and a persistent feature around the global oceans, but they are also very much prominent in areas where there are narrow straits, where the tide can have a very good impact in terms of generating these waves. They're very common in the northwest shelf of Australia and has a very large impact for the oil and gas installations for pipelines and platforms.
So we're talking about them because there is some suspicion that one might have been a probable cause of the submarine crashing, effectively plunging to the bottom of the ocean. What sort of destructive force can these waves have?
They can make very strong currents on the seabed when they interact. Just like when you go to the beach, we see the waves breaking. These internal waves can also break. But most of the time, just as you were floating on the sea surface, they will make you go up and down, but with not that many impact in terms of strong currents. It is, I would think that unlikely that the submarine accident, the internal waves may have contributed, but it is not the only cause.
OK, that's interesting. So other factors involved, but describe to me what a submarine would do if it hit one of these internal waves. Would it tip to one side?
One of the interesting things is that a lot of these internal waves were discovered because of submarines, which basically got stuck in the middle of, in the interior of the ocean. It wasn't going anywhere because you're actually in the interface, and the propeller was creating these waves in the lee rather than moving forward. That's how these waves were originally identified. So just like you are bobbing up in the ocean when a wave comes, you will go up and down and maybe scale that up into a submarine, and that's what it will do. We do lots of remotely operated vehicles called ocean gliders. They do exactly the same. So the wave will take you up and bringing it down and up again. So it's a vertical movement, but they're also very slow moving.
Very, very interesting. Good to have your expertise. Professor Chari Potiarachi, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.